Author and Northeast Missouri resident Hector Contreras tackles the bullying topic in his new children's book, Carlos Finds Courage, a story that teaches kindness, courage, and friendship. Welcome, Hector.
Thanks for having me, Jody. Such a pleasure to be here.
Well, I have to admit to our audience that you're my very good friend, but
Yes.
I love this book. And being
Thank
from
you.
Northeast Missouri, how neat is that it's almost a local book that's been established here. So how can parents bridge the bullying conversation with their children?
This is such a touchy topic with children and adolescents because they're afraid, right? Carlos is a little bit like Hector was in elementary school. I was afraid to tell my parents or talk to teachers about being bullied because I didn't want to be a tattletale and I didn't want to be a snitch. But what I found talking with counselors and going through therapy myself is that we have to use active questions when we're talking with children about being bullied or about the things that are going on in school. For example, instead of just asking, oh, how was your day at school? Most kids are just going to say, fine, it was okay. But if you ask more questions and you have an open line of communication with children, for example, who did you sit with at lunch today? Oh, with Susie Q. Oh, do you usually sit with her? No. Well, why did you sit next to her? Oh, because so-and-so was bullying me. That is more of an active approach that will help you really bridge that conversation with children.
But why was it important for you to share Carlos's story?
I learned at a very young age, actually, when I was being bullied in elementary school, because I didn't tell anyone, and the bully persisted and persisted and persisted until I finally exploded. And I was, I became very violent with the bully and just begged and pleaded for him to stop bullying me. And that's when it finally stopped. But that's what I learned at that very young age, because when I got home and told my mom I was being bullied, she didn't have the tools to help me understand, my little brain comprehend what was going on and how to deal with these emotions. And because my mother didn't react and didn't sort of validate my emotions, I thought, well, I'm not going to tell anyone at school because no one, if my mom doesn't care, no one else at school is going to care.
Well, tell us the name of the book. I know we've seen it on our screen already.
Yes, Carlos Finds Courage. That's the title of the book. And, I wanted it to certainly have a presence of a Latino roots, of a Latino character. As a young kid, I don't have any children myself, but I have nieces and nephews. And when they were young, I would look for books that didn't have sort of these characters or names that, sort of identified our heritage. So it was important for me to make sure that Carlos was sort of the main character, but also living an American dream and having a sort of an American lifestyle.
Well, and what's cool about this book is parents don't be confused because Hector's not telling his story, he is telling Carlos's story. And what Carlos does is what's supposed to be done, which is go to an adult. And so it's wonderful. It gives me chills. I told you that this weekend because it's such a great tool for parents.
So I think it is important to sort of be vulnerable. And I know that's sort of a buzzword right now, but it's being open and honest about the emotions that you carry, about the things that upset you, and saying, hey, these boundaries, this is my boundary. Please don't do that again. And I think that is an important tool and it's an important skill for children to have as early as possible.
You can find this book on Amazon today, right?
That's right. Yes, Amazon.com.
Okay.
Carlos Finds Courage.
Hector, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.